Get ready to dive into a world where empires stand on the brink of war and terrible monsters tear at the fragile borderlands of men. The Adventurer-Conqueror King System Imperial Imprint, or as we like to call it, Acts 2, is now live on Kickstarter. Acts 2 is the new edition of the acclaimed best-selling fantasy role-playing game. You'll find everything you need to enjoy epic fantasy campaigns with a sweeping scope. Whether you want to crawl through dungeons, experiment with alchemy, crossbreed monsters, run a merchant emporium, raise an undead legion, or even conquer an empire, Acts 2 supports your playstyle. Acts 2 integrates experience point mechanics, making campaign activities a seamless part of the core gameplay loop. Your character levels up in new and exciting ways each time you play, adding massive replayability to each of your adventures. Acts 2 offers 18 character classes, 378 spells, new combat mechanics, and so much more. Support Acts 2 on Kickstarter today.
Knocked Prone is a clean, chaotic, and deep podcast for D&D nerds. Find more ways to support our show in the episode description.
Last time on Knocked Prone, you hear the nasally voice of the Big Bonito say, "I've been waiting for this for some time now." He will jump from his cage towards Granny D's face. In that motion, will pull out a purple syringe of purple goop, jam this into Granny D's neck. Her eyes will roll to the back of her head, and she will roar.
If you die because I told you to go close, I'm very sorry.
I might die. Granny D's first bite clamps into you, knocking you completely unconscious, and then her claw and tail attack bloody you beyond the point that you are able to be saved, Selene. Selene, what are the last things that you think of before the light is snuffed from your life?
I drop my alpike from my hands, and I think to myself that I always knew I might not see the end of our lofty adventure to take down Vecna. I think about Finch and how I'll never see him again, and how I'm leaving my party behind. And I hope the Zag doesn't live his life thinking that it's his fault.
Oh my gosh. Oh man, I might have just gambled way too hard. Granny D! We know the real enemy here is Litsea, and he's going to cast Word of Recall and attempt to all creatures within the 5-foot radius, him, Granny D, Grom, and Selene's body. I can only cast this within a 5-foot radius. Right. So I will be leaving Kobo and Efimia behind to cast this spell and attempt to cast Word of Recall on those 5 creatures to transport them to Litsea's castle within the Draco Goblin jungle.
Whether you're a halfling, a giant, or somewhere in between, round the table with your friends, playing Dungeons and Dragons.
And if life ever knocks you down, your dice will surely turn around.
Roll your stats, it's time to quest. Let's put your characters to the test.
So we're going to join Selene, Grom, and Zag. Grom, Zag, you guys just teleported away with Granny D to a sanctuary, being the sanctuary set at Litsea's hideout, Litsea's kind of lair thing that Zag you are familiar with. Selene is limp dead, failed all 3 saving throws due to critical hits from Granny D. Selene is outright dead. We're going to start at the top of initiative. Selene, you are up. Your body starts to twitch and you react to the purple aura that is in the sky, and you reanimate as a zombified person, and in your mind are flashes of the radio tower in Greyhaven. All you know is that you need to get to that radio tower as soon as possible.
Do I still have, like, my memories? Except
No.
This is actually an interesting time for us to discover a little bit about these zombies. So I don't feel like myself. I'm not conscious as myself. Okay.
Your one prerogative in life, or unlife, I guess, is to get to the Greyhaven Tower as soon as possible.
Okay.
You are clasped in the jaws of Granny D. What would you like to do with your action as a zombie?
I mean, I guess I would obviously first attempt to get out of Granny D's mouth.
Okay, roll me a grapple check.
I did not expect to get to do anything. Zombie Selene. So fun.
That is a dirty 20.
28.
Wow, okay. Granny D clamps down tighter on your body, but you were able to get through. She doesn't floss very often, and so you're able to get through like the gaps that her teeth create because of the plaque that has built up. You break away the plaque and you fall out of this dragon's mouth, and you take a heap of damage as you hit the ground, but your zombified state does not care.
And then I suppose I will move towards the direction of Greyhaven. I'm curious too. Do zombies have the brains to move out of doors or just head in one straight line?
As a zombie, you basically go in the most optimal path. However, your intelligence as an undead is not very high, so it is generally a straight line, but you are able to kind of like maneuver around trees and such.
Okay, so then I guess I would be heading towards the door.
Brains! All right.
That was terrible.
And with that, it is Granny D's turn. She is going to roll a d6 to see if she gets her breath weapon back. She regains it on a 5 or a 6.
I thought we weren't necessarily fighting her because she came willingly here.
She's going to try to recharge her breath weapon for Litsea.
Okay. I just wanted to confirm. We're not like trying to necessarily kill her right now. We're kind of like in like a little bit of a middle ground.
A little bit of a limbo. Zag offered to bring her to Litsea, who is basically her sworn enemy. So yes, she is currently eyes locked on the tower that you guys see, the Tower of Litsea in the distance about 60 feet away from where you are. And Granny D shoots into the sky and with an 80-foot flying speed gets to Litsea's lair and tries to recharge her breath weapon, however is unsuccessful with a 4, and so she is just going to start bashing into this structure here and is going to deal a significant amount of damage to it. But that is the end of Granny D's turn. Zag, you are up.
Okay, how far away is Selene from me?
You watch as her lifeless body falls to the ground, and you watch as her zombified corpse stands back up and starts hustling in the direction of that you would know to be Greyhaven.
Okay, but she's 20 feet away from me?
She's 20 feet away.
Okay, Zag will full sprint towards Zombine. Almost like tackles her to the ground.
Okay.
And casts a Revivify on her zombie self.
And as you cast Revivify, what is the emotion that is behind this Revivify? Like, how are you casting this Revivify in a way that you can convince the dead Selene's soul to come back to her body?
Zag knows that not is he only just slightly responsible for this happening, he knows he is fully responsible for this happening.
Yeah.
Regardless of his intentions.
I'm looking at you.
I know you're looking at me. You've been death glaring me since this episode started.
May Tell have mercy on your soul.
I mean, just so much regret and shame, feeling like he did make this happen, and he's just gonna channel every piece of magic or every shred of magic that he has, that Thorn has, that he's ever channeled into this one Revivify spell. I'd like it to look kind of just like a huge, almost like glowing aura going from him to her.
This glowing aura starts to shine, and you start seeing your favorite memory of Selene in this glowing aura. Go ahead and describe what that is for me.
Flashing back to early on in the adventure, walking the streets of Greyhaven, Zag buying a bag of birdseed for Selene, pretty sure that was not actually what she ate, but was just trying to do something nice and thinking maybe it would be something kind. And he was able to tell with just his high charisma, it wasn't something she wanted, but she accepted it and was thankful for it. And it was at that moment he knew she was a true friend.
Selene, as you are in the astral plane and your soul is in the torment of not knowing where it's going to go next without a god to basically ascend to their afterlife, you notice a bag of astral birdseed appear in your hands.
Eat it, dude!
And
Person.
feel
She should come back for Erica.
You feel the warmth of the love of your party engulf you, and all at once, your soul returns to the land of the living.
So am I 0 hit point, 1 hit point?
You are at 1 hit point.
Which is stabilized.
Which is
right?
stabilized and conscious. You, as you enter back into the land of the living, Grom, you are up.
I will be running over to Selene. I'm just going to put a hand on her shoulder. And I think this is going to be metagame. I'm going to cast Cure Wounds. I'm going to flavor it as Grom isn't consciously casting the spell. More so, he's genuinely concerned. You get 7 points of healing.
Wonderful.
Isn't great, but it's something.
As this healing pulses through you, you feel more love kind of reverberate through your body as you are surrounded by both Zag and Grom, and you feel the presence of Efimia. However, she is not around. And speaking of which, Kobo, go ahead and roll me a death saving throw.
I forgot he was down.
Lovely little
Come on.
horns
Come on.
quivering
Yes.
from the damage I've taken.
Oh,
I roll an 8 and
Oh no.
have 1 fail and 1 success.
Kobo, tell me about a memory from the war, an unpleasant memory from the war.
Kobo remembers leading a giant troop of kobolds into the goblins, and he remembers just blasting and tearing through the goblins and ordering cannon fire. He sees just a moment where there was a goblin he had ran into in a previous battle. He hesitates for just a second. Nobody's firing cannons. People are looking over trying to see what happens. Kills Little Toe.
Kobo, you feel your soul start to slip into undeath, and with that, Efimia, you are up. You are watching as this stadium of garbage that Granny D has just disappeared from is starting to fill with kobolds and bullywugs, all chanting, "Fight! Fight! Fight!" And you see the Big Bonito stand over the lifeless body of Kobo and say, "Brothers, sisters, it appears I stand victorious and am just in ruling both parties of Kobold and Bullywug, unless anyone has anything to say otherwise."
I have something to say otherwise.
Kobo lifts a hand and snaps.
Snap.
How far away am I at?
You are 10 feet away from this bullywug, and you are sitting next to the lifeless body of Kobo with your ears deafened by the crowd around you. The only thing you can hear over the crowd is the lion-like growls the Big Bonito makes when he breathes in and out of his frog-like vocal sac. This frog smirks at you and looks down at Kobo. He ribbits and says, "So this is the champion that you'd like to choose?" As you look down, Efimia, and see that Kobo's blood is seeping throughout your feet.
As my action, I'm going to lay on hands on Kobo.
Okay.
And I am going to give him 40 points of healing.
Nice.
So Kobo, you return back to the land of the living with a song in your heart, and you are knocked prone on the ground. Knocked prone. Woo! And as you are knocked prone on the ground, you see this bullywug, the Big Bonito, who is standing about 15 feet away from you, who is rearing to kill you. A bullywug referee is going to stand in the middle of this ring, and he's going to say, "Ladies and gentlemen, it seems we have a challenger against the Big Bonito for the kingdom of the bullywug. Whoever is the victor can be taken to the bullywug people, but we need a single leader. So Kobo and the Big Bonito, please approach the center of the ring." And Efimia, you know that according to Bullywug custom, it would have to be a 1v1 battle. However, you can cast healing and buffing spells that normally would be for you, for instance, Hunter's Mark, but on Kobo. Would you like to channel your Hunter's Mark and give it to Kobo instead.
Yes, I would.
You can provide any healing spell and any support spell that would be on Self, or any smite you can now cast on Kobo instead to bolster him in this 1v1 fight for the throne. We're going to go back to the castle of Litsea, and Litsea, you are currently inside of your castle surrounded by your adoring goblinoids, and you hear on the outside of your castle as Granny D in a rage has come to kill you. What would you like to do with your turn?
So I would first like to just point out that I am little Litsea, little cute 12-year-old Litsea, as that's the form that I hang out in. I would like to use my first action to attempt to cast Polymorph on Granny D.
With a 13 on the dice and a +3, she will fail. What are you polymorphing Granny D into, Litsea?
I'm going to have a nice throwback to Tess from Campaign 1, and I am polymorphing Granny D into a grasshopper.
Tim.
Wonderful.
Tim?
Yes, the spirit of Tim.
Then after that, I assume a moderate amount of peace then ensues from there.
You see just an enraged tiny grasshopper start hopping around and hopping in your direction. But you also see Zag, the descendant of Lakir's lineage, and you see a Duergar dwarf approaching the castle, and a newly revived Azamar also approaching the castle.
So that's great. The one thing I'll add to that is I'll just say, don't touch the grasshopper. Ignore her. And then, of course, I'm going to recognize Zag. Just for roleplay purposes, can we just kind of pause combat for a second?
Polymorph lasts for an hour, so you are good on pausing combat.
So as I obviously recognize Zag, I just want to ask him, who's accompanying you today?
These are my friends. This is Grom.
Hello.
Oh, this is Grom.
Yeah, you know about Grom.
Yes.
And then this is Selene.
Well, it's very nice to meet some of your friends. I am more familiar with Grom than he probably knows. It's fun to see your face in person.
Likewise.
Great. So, what the are you doing with Granny D in my space?
Grom's just gonna look to Zag.
Zag's just gonna say, we were in a really tight spot. Things were looking bad. I knew I could get us somewhere safe, and this was the first place that I thought of that maybe you could help us.
Who gave her the purple goop?
The Big Bonito. Her love.
Excuse me?
I don't...
It's been a very weird day.
All right. Well, do you realize who Granny D is to me?
I know it has something to do with your old friend.
My old friend.
But I know you guys are not on good terms, and I thought maybe we could just talk it out.
We need help from both of you.
My sweet child, I do not talk it out, nor do I just help random strangers. Even you, Zag.
We're not strangers. We had a heart-to-heart.
You owned my soul.
Perhaps we're more related than most people I destroy. Well, in case you didn't know, Granny D's basically my adopted child. Despite my appearance, I'm actually quite old. The friend that you reference, Torin, gifted her to me basically because she was a problem child. A child who Torin thought I should be responsible for fixing. Because Torin believes something is wrong with beautiful, stunning, chaotic, evil creatures like me. So I don't think anything's wrong with her. She's fine just the way she is. However, with a little extra purple goop, she hardly has a brain for herself. So I'm willing to at least fix that.
Litsea, a grasshopper, is going to jump up and deal 1 damage to you.
Great. I do not flinch.
As Granny D just tries to hit as hard as she can with her legs against you.
Back legs, like a jump backwards kick, like donkey kick style.
Yeah, donkey kick.
Praying mantis and Kung Fu Panda just like comes up and hits her, and she goes, boom, she just flying.
I could help you kill Granny D. I would rather not get my hands dirty today, especially for my adopted child. Or I suppose we could fix her. I have an idea, but I'm not sure if it would work. Thoughts?
I mean, if you could fix her, that would be great. But we have one other thing to maybe talk to you about while we're here. We need your help.
All right.
Do you know about all the purple and the phones and the
yes.
zombies?
Yes. It's not the strangest thing I've seen in my lifetime, but the zombies have been a bit of a pest. I look over at Selene.
You know about Vecna then?
Vecna. Do I know a thing or two about Vecna? What about her? What's she been up to lately?
We're trying to stop her. The sky is because of her.
I see. And what do you want with me?
We're trying to gather influencers in the world, and we're trying to get your guys' help and your people to fight Vecna and save the world.
I will once again just throw out there that you are absolutely nothing like Lakir. I may have had a bad bargain with you. I do have some personal beef with Vecna as well, so, believe it or not, I'm in.
That's great.
Zag's going to whisper to Grom, and I want to just note that he's going to put his hand on the wrong side of his mouth so that it is
No,
facing Litsea. I cannot believe that worked.
I know.
But we need Granny D's help too.
Oh, you need Granny D's help too.
If possible, we got her to kind of agree, but then the big Benito showed up and caused everything to go south.
I guess it's better that we don't kill her then.
You didn't want to, but then she attacked. Yeah, it got
I think
messy.
it's up to you.
I think she's a creature worth saving.
Okay. Why do you guys fight so much? You seem to talk really nice about her, and she's your daughter?
We just don't get along very well. It's a little strange to have an adopted child I didn't ask for.
But does that mean you have to fight?
We don't fight. We were practically next door neighbors, and we never bother each other.
Do you think that you'd be able to work together?
To take down Vecna? Absolutely.
I think that's all we need.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's test out this plan that I've only ever thought of in my brain and never actually tested out anything for it at all. And I'm going to smash Granny D with my foot.
As you smash Granny D with your foot, we are going to join Kobo and Efimia. The Big Bonito is going to walk up to the newly brought back up Kobo, and he is going to say, "You weren't even worth the bother, but since I have to do this, it seems to, get my love as well as my people back, I guess I have to kill you." And he is going to hit you with his tongue whip, a 15 to hit,
That hits.
and a natural 20 to hit.
So that hits as well.
I'm so sorry.
I'm so scared.
So you are going to take, with that first hit, 11 points of piercing damage and 8 points of poison damage. And with the natural 20, you are going to take 12 points of piercing damage and 16 points of poison damage. So you take 37 points of damage. The Big Bonito punches you twice with his tongue, and he's going to say,
"I'm gonna crush you like the fly you are, and then Granny D and I are going to share your guts like Lady and the Tramp."
and the kobolds and bullywugs cheer in this huge cacophony, and the kobolds, you can hear quietly start to say, "Kobo, Kobo,
Yeah.
Kobo, Kobo." Go ahead and roll
Kobo.
me a Constitution saving throw with disadvantage.
Oh, shoot.
Oh no.
I can't do it. Yeah, I fail.
You fail? Okay.
Oh.
As you fail, blood spurts off of your face as you get hit with this 2 tongue lashes to your head from this bullywug.
I get slapped down on one knee. Blood starts to fill my eyes. Rage. You see Kobo's body start to shake.
Yeah.
I came to try and keep peace, but that plan has now fallen to pieces. I no longer feel I can leave this, so my integrity behind, I will leave it.
And then stands up.
And as you stand up, you feel the curse that the hag Litsea placed on you with her blood madness as you stand fully enraged and ready to kill this bullywug. And with that, Kobo, as you're looking at the Big Bonito, you see a sea of destroyed kobolds. This was the platoon that you carried into battle, that you were the only one who is left. And by the grace of a hag, Litsea herself, she let you go with the curse laid on your soul, that anytime you felt enraged, you would relive this moment and feel her hag power swell inside of you. And you are now under the effects of Litsea's Crimson Hag Blood Rage. This is kind of a shout back to Campaign 1, but if you haven't listened to Campaign 1, that's cool anyway.
Snap!
So you are now just ready to brutally assault this kobold. And with that, that is the end of the Big Bonito's turn. And we're going to go over to your turn, Kobo. You have blood in your eyes. You see a sea of kobolds surrounding you, and the Big Bonito seems to be the reason that they have died. Other than the guilt that you feel rage. What are you doing?
As Kobo's eyes become more and more blood-pierced, head contorting to the side, growing larger and larger, entirely turning red as pincers come out, and he becomes a Hulk crab.
Oh, do you cast Polymorph on yourself?
Yep.
Wonderful. So you become a gigantic crab, and you start charging forth towards the Big Bonito. With the assistance of Efimia, are going to have an action. Efimia, you have a reaction. Are you going to cast any spells to either buff Kobo or heal Kobo in any way?
Yeah, so I would like to cast a 3rd level haste on Kobo.
Wonderful.
So his AC goes up another 2.
Okay.
And his target speed is doubled. And also he has advantage on dexterity saving throws and an additional action on each turn.
Kobo, you feel empowered in your crab form, but additionally you feel the power of Efimia, and you feel the sense of the new friends that you've made through Grom, Zag, Selene, and Efimia empower you, and you are now under the effects of the haste spell. With that, it is going to be the Big Bonito's turn.
I have a bonus action of Channel Divinity. Can I use that for Kobo?
Of course.
Okay, so I can choose he can choose a creature within 10 feet of him and gain advantage on attack rolls for the next minute.
So you feel super empowered. You have advantage. You have extra AC. You have the hasted speed and an extra action. But before you can get an action off with this new hasted speed, the Big Bonito looks towards you and says, "You're not my love. I'll kill you for her." And he's going to do 2 extra tongue whip attacks at you. That is a 14 to hit.
Miss.
And a 23 to hit.
Hit.
He will deal 11 points of piercing damage at you, and then another 9 points of poison damage. 20 points of damage that you've taken total this round. And with that, that is the end of his turn, and he says, "Bring it on." And the rest of the kobolds and bullywugs around this trash-filled arena are still chanting, "Fight! Fight! Fight!" And the kobolds are saying, "Kobo! Kobo!"
My crab says,
Wonderful. And with that, we are going to join the other end of the party as you are now enraged. Litsea, you instantly crush this grasshopper with your foot, and the group of you look as Granny D grows from this minuscule grasshopper into a gargantuan white ancient dragon once again. That is the end of Litsea's turn. We're going to go back up to the top of the order. Selene, you watch as this hag Rakshasa crushes this grasshopper that turns into an ancient white dragon. What are you doing?
I am going to hide. I'm going to run wherever I need to in the room and then hide.
Okay, you hide in the castle ruins that Granny D is now kind of attacking. Is there anything else you'd like to do with your action?
Nope, that's it. I'm just gonna hide.
Okay, you hide. Roll me a stealth check. Granny D is going to roll a perception check. She has a huge plus to perception, so good luck.
23.
Ooh.
With a plus 13 in perception.
I have a plus 13 in stealth.
Oh,
rolled a
really?
10.
You rolled a 10? Well, with a plus 13 in perception, she rolled a 6. And you will narrowly escape the gaze of Granny D. And luckily for you, Selene, it is now Granny D's turn. So she's going to roll to see if she can get her breath weapon back. Fails to regain her breath weapon. But she is going to do a multi-attack against Litsea. Litsea, that is going to be a 16 to hit, a 22 to hit, and a 27 to hit, which I believe 2 of those will hit. And Litsea is going to take 52 points of cold damage as this dragon is going to just absolutely try to rip you apart, Litsea, and is able to get off a bite and a tail attack, but misses with her claws.
How many hit points do I have?
She dealt 52 of your 148 points of health in one fell swoop, and with that, that is the end of Granny D's turn, as she says, "Litsea, I'll kill you!" You see the violet eyes start to swell with purple aura.
All right, here's what I was able to deduce from Torn's notes. We need to complete a purifying ritual 3 times successfully in order to tame the purple goop. Granny D's scales are impervious to the ritual, so I'll need a conduit inside Granny D's stomach for me to be able to channel the ritual. The more people I have helping me with the ritual circle, the better chance at success we'll have in purifying the goop inside of Granny D. Whoever is going into Granny D's stomach better be tough, because according to my calculations, though the ritual ceremony will slow Granny D, whoever is inside of her will have to make it through unbearable cold. It might seem like somewhat of a death sentence hopping into the stomach of an ancient white dragon. I calculate it to be a 70% chance the ritual won't work. Is everybody ready?
With Litsea having said that, how far away is Granny D from Zag?
About 20 feet.
Zag is going to first cast Adaluke's Resilient Sphere on himself and intentionally fail the saving throw.
Okay.
He is willing and enclose himself in a dope hamster ball.
Okay.
And you know what? I'm flavoring it this time. Baby Shadow Thorn is going to back up, do a Kamehameha on Zag, and it will enclose him. And then he will run towards Granny D and attempt to force himself inside her mouth while in the hamster ball, while yelling, "This is my moment."
Roll me an athletics check.
I hope you get this so bad.
Dude, please help
You
me.
guys can't last round after round.
No, we'll die so fast. Athletics?
Yes.
What's your athletics?
-1.
Oh.
The number to beat is 16.
11.
Unfortunately, with an 11,
Oh no.
you are going to get clamped in the teeth of Granny D as you try to enter into her mouth, and she and your Autoluke's Resilient Sphere is going to fly about 30 feet away. You won't take any damage, obviously, since you're in Autoluke's Resilient Sphere, but you do not, unfortunately, enter into the intestines of this dragon. And with that, is that the end of your turn, Zag?
Yeah, that's the end.
Grom, you are up.
In her stomach, you say?
And he's going to get close enough to Granny D, and I want to ready my action so that the next time she takes a bite attack, I want to try to just leap into her mouth and try to jump down her esophagus once.
Wonderful. Roll me an athletics check. The number to beat is a 16.
27.
With a 27, Granny D opens her mouth in preparation for a bite, and you leap down her esophagus.
And that'll be my turn, yeah.
Okay. And
Bye.
with that, Litsea, you have an action. You notice as Grom is tunneling down Granny D's gullet, and you know that you need at least one person to help you with this ritual in order for the ritual to be completed. Without one extra person, the DC will be 21. With one person, it will be 18. With 2 people aiding in this, it will only be a 15 medicine check. However, everyone aiding will need to do a 15 medicine check if 2 people are helping. So if Litsea, Selene, and Zag are helping, it'll be 3 medicine checks, all needing to be 15. If only 2 people are helping, it'll have to be 2 18s. If one person is helping, it'll have to be a 21. Not everyone needs to succeed, but the number of successes need to be over 50% in order for this to work out. So if only 2 people are casting the ritual, 1 person has to succeed. If 3 people are casting the ritual, 2 people have to succeed. and you need 3 rounds of successes in order for this ritual to be completed.
Oh, goodness.
Before you get 3 failures, if you get 3 failures, your successes reset.
Y'all, someone's gonna die. I would assume I'm near my cauldron already.
Yes, as well as Zag is also right next to your cauldron ritual circle, and Selene is a little bit away, but she is hidden.
So since Selene isn't here yet, can I ready my action for this spell?
Yes.
Okay, so I am around the cauldron. Zag is really close to around the cauldron. All we need is to get Selene here too. That's what I would like to do.
Selene, get over here. I think I see Finch.
Selene, Litsea, and Zag, you are all in this ritual circle. Grom is tunneling to the center of Granny D. I need all of you to make me medicine, arcana, or religion check. Your choice between the 3. The DC is going to be 15 for each of your characters.
Okay, I'm going to do religion for Selene.
Okay. 15 is the number to beat.
I got 12.
With a 12, you need 2 out of 3 to succeed. Litsea now has to succeed.
I got a 10.
With a 10, you will unfortunately fail.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, Zag. You won't have a turn this action.
You should roll anyway.
You will
roll.
roll. You can roll.
I'm going for it.
If you get a natural 20, I will count it. That is it. That is
Dirty 20 is going to count.
Only natural 20.
Dirty 20. That's going to be an 18.
That does not succeed. Grom, you are going to take 23 points of cold damage as you are diving down this gullet.
I'd like to use my bonus action for Boots of the Winding Path to go 15 feet back to where I was hidden.
Wonderful. Yes. So Selene hides once again. And with that, we are going to rejoin the Big Bonito, Kobo, and Efimia. The Big Bonito is going to say,
So, Kobo, don't you celebrate quite yet. You might be looking crabby, but my clawsome attacks are sure to leave you in quite the pinch.
and he is going to get 18 to hit.
Miss.
And 24 to hit.
Hits.
So you are going to take 9 points of piercing damage and 12 points of poison damage. So 21 points of damage total for the round. And the Big Bonito says,
Thanks for providing the crab. Usually you have to pay extra on a date with Granny D for the surf and turf.
And it's your turn, Kobo.
Kobo says nothing, but slams claws down towards him. That's gonna be a 23?
That'll hit.
And a 15.
That'll also hit.
Really? Okay, and then with haste strike, it says to make only one attack, so I'm gonna get a
three
third.
attacks, yep.
Okay. Well, then that should hit as well, but that is a 20.
That will hit.
Yes, I think 24. Well, this is 26 plus 7,
so 33.
So 33.
So
somebody writing
26
these
plus 33
59.
is 59 so far.
10, 3.
Is that another
2?
10?
Yeah.
Kobo, go ahead and tell me how you are going to kill this Bullywug.
Kobo goes from almost never doing damage, sitting there calmly, to just his eyes turn red. Within an 18 seconds, it's like his eyes turn red, then his whole body turns into this giant red hulking crab, taking a few hits from the Big Bonito before just taking one claw, grabbing him, holding him up, taking the other claw, grabbing the lower half of him, and just tearing the Big Bonito into 2 pieces.
You tear this frog and have frog salad for dinner, and you absolutely
I'll eat him.
destroy
I'll
this.
eat
Yes,
him.
you destroy this
Bonito.
Bullywug.
Oh, man.
And he says, "My love," as he is disappearing down your throat. And with that, you polymorph out of a crab, and you hear around the stadium, Kobo, 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 as you now realize that you are the king of the Bullywugs.
Kobo's reaction is a little bit delayed before excitement, as he is grappling with what he's done and embracing the madness within him from Litsea's curse, yet knows the importance of the moment and turns a bright, shining smile to the crowd Does a princess wave.
Kobo, as our new king, are you gonna be as sucky as the big bonito, or are you gonna be like cool? Do you have a love?
My only love will be to guide our two races to a better world.
Kobo the King! Huzzah! And that is where we're going to end this episode for the night. My name is Cade, the host and dungeon frog of this Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition adventure, and I'm joined here by the characters to my left.
Alec playing Zag.
Mason playing Grom.
Danny playing Kobo.
Marissa playing Efimia.
And Brooklyn playing Selene and Litsea.
Thank you so much for joining our session tonight. Gosh, I'm so glad that Selene didn't outright die.
I told you guys it would work.
I don't know if I told you guys last session. Last session was the night before Brooke and I's anniversary, 6-year anniversary. So Brooke, the morning of our anniversary, was like, I hope you know that you killed my D&D character the day before our 6-year anniversary. If you enjoyed this episode, go on over to patreon.com/knocked and subscribe to our Patreon for as little as $2 a month. $2 a month will get you access to our Talked Prone episodes, which is the after show that we do after our episodes. Danny is actually the host of those episodes, as well as you'll get access to ad-free episodes a day early, so they'll drop on Tuesdays instead of Wednesdays, as well as access to our exclusive Patreon-only chat on our Discord. Brooklyn, go ahead and highlight your favorite of the other Patreon tiers.
I would like to highlight the $10 Patreon tier because I believe it is the most elite tier. The Sparkle Rebels, there is a lot of really fun things there. We just barely opened up a whole new branch of content, which is our NSFW content. So if you want to branch out and be spicy,
what does NSFW stand for the people who aren't
safe for work?
Or your family.
Or your family, or your small children. So
if you want to hear us swear a few times
and other things, you may be surprised what comes out of our mouth.
Which specifically, I want to shout out Cade's recent editing on Shocked Prone, the NSFW version of Talked Prone.
I didn't realize Danny was our spicy member.
Right? But there is even more than just our NSFW content. There's actually a lot of things, so definitely check it out. Just go take a little look-see. Take a peek-see.
Yeah,
a little Litsea.
A little Litsea.
Thank you so much for joining us for this Knocked Prone adventure, and we hope that you remember when life knocks you flat on your back, all you got to do is keep rolling, and we hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
I just want to let you all know, I have no plans to just ruin everything tonight. Usually when I'm going to do it, I know.
You never have an exact plan to ruin everything.
Okay, Zag will full sprint towards Zombine. As he gets close to her, he'll pull out his crossbow. No, I'm just kidding. The social media influencers of the world.
We were wondering if you would show us on your TikTok so that we could gain some
sponsor our
followers for our
podcast?
cause.
Oh wait, no, this is the perfect time. This is the perfect time. Hold on. Would you sponsor a product called Zagnut? Did you guys see this?
Our Discord pops off.
The brand new candy bar sponsored by me, Zag. It has the crunch, the peanut butter, the toasted coconut. Everything I know you want in a candy bar.